And this part, here at home. We're learning another relative of the Iranian regime has been living lavishly in Los Angeles. According to court documents, adjunct professional psychology professor Isa Hashimi has reportedly been living in the United States for years after allegedly coming here on a student visa. His mom was known to the world as Screaming Mary. She was the spokeswoman for the Iranian militants who took 52 Americans hostage for 444 days in 1979. At one point, she told reporters she would gladly pick up a gun and kill American hostages. Screaming Mary was his mom. He's living it up here in the U.S. Now a petition is circulating online demanding the Trump administration kick Screaming Mary's boy out of the country, which is exactly what's happening to the niece and grandniece of notorious Iranian General Qasem Soleimani. Those two had been posting pictures bragging about their luxe lives before they were arrested by ICE. Critics are applauding the crackdown.
We ought to start, we need a cleaning, and this needs to start right now. This is a perfect example of what we need to be doing, because I guarantee you the money they're spending is probably somehow is shipped over there to an NGO in one of those countries from American taxpayers or the United Nations, and they come back over here and they trash this great country.
Oh, I'm having a 6-7 moment. Don't tell any teenager you know. It is Lux Life or go back to Iran.
Yeah, and the New York Post had a really interesting article citing that there are anywhere from 4,000 to 5,000 of these individuals in the country, of relatives of the Iranian regime elites and bureaucrats living in our country, studying at our universities, even teaching at some of our universities as well. And to your point, Harris, think about the contradiction here. So in Iran, their leaders are chanting death to America. They're calling us the great Satan. They're burning our flags. They're trying to kill our men and women, yet their relatives are coming to the United States. So if we're the great Satan, why do you want to be here? And why the heck are we allowing you to be here? And then beyond that, if you remember back to the Biden administration, we've even allowed some of these individuals to work in our government. Do you remember Semaphore had that article about some of the members who were tied to the Iran Experts Initiative, which was a part of the Iran Foreign Ministry's influence campaign here in the West, and they were working for the Biden administration. So we really got to think about this legal immigration stuff. Why are we giving these people visas and green cards?
Kaylee.
Yeah, and not only is this individual in this country, he is a professor.
Exactly.
Right,
Boom.
a college psychology professor. Apparently you pay $20,000 to go to this school, and this is the person shaping the minds of Americans. And where, you know, I'm reading through the New York Post, there's no definitive break. We just reported, you know, he's not disowning his mom. So why is this person teaching our children? Not only that, apparently, this is in the New York Post too, the father of this individual, according to some people who were involved in some of these hostage interrogations that happened in Iran, he was in the room during some of the tortures of these hostages in Iran. So if you can't make that definitive break from your parents, why are you here? Why are you a psychology professor? You would think the school could find better.
Yeah, I'm concerned about the school not knowing history. Right? I mean, maybe they had no idea who this man was, but don't you do any sort of vetting? And when you see a connection, doesn't the leader of the history department say, whoa, yo?
Yes, and I'd like to say this too, that the professors, the relatives of these individuals at Tulane, at Emory and the like, there have been petitions circulating. There have been an outcry from the dissidents of the Islamic Republic for quite some time trying to get them out of here. It's only now that it's sort of catching fire amongst the country as we see with horrified lens that these individuals have been benefiting, living off the fat of Western culture while lambasting it at the same time, and enjoying, by the way, the fruits of blood money. And you hit the nail on the head to me that there is no break from the regime. These are not people who have sought asylum here that have said, you know, I have zero connection with my terrorist families. These are people who enjoy bashing Western values and bashing the United States in the same breath as posting those kind of, or not that one, but posting the photos of themselves. And I note the horrific contrast of a regime that butchers and murders young women for not wearing a hijab. And then these young women get to post photos of themselves half naked and in front of private jets and all of those lavish, luxe, clickbaiting, ridiculous positions. Well, the positions of many of their brethren are now 6 feet under. It is horrifying that this regime that we are talking about today, that has put human chains around targets, that put children around targets, enjoys their children living off our luxury and our generosity. So I hope indeed that those petitions find their way to a lot more concretized action than simply circulating online.
Yeah, they're just a bunch of terrorists. They sound like Hamas. That's who does that. They put, women and children around targets and use them so that the enemy kills them first. The niece and the grandniece living in Los Angeles got asylum in this country in 2019. Then they got green cards, reportedly. I know Secretary of State Marco Rubio has started a huge drumbeat now. You were talking about how they come to this country, Emily, with taking away those green cards because, Paul, they're at the discretion of the nation. Like, that's a gift. You don't just automatically get that. So he's taken them away, and now they're on that short deport list.
I'd love to know the route. We don't have an embassy in Tehran, okay? So what State Department consular officer in the diplomatic cone reviewed the applications, approved this, and said, in you go, and I'd like to know their status. Are they LPRs? Are they green card holders? Are they here? I know the reporting is that Hashemi is here on a student visa. Well, those expire. So what is he doing here? Once again, it's another example of the fact that we had open borders and we had an immigration system that nobody really seemed to have any interest in minding. And all I would say is just expand the footprint of this story a little bit, because if they could do this, imagine what, let's say, the Russians, the Chinese, especially the Chinese, these Confucian institutes on our universities are just rampant.
So that's interesting. That's interesting because that came up today with one of the guests on Fox News about Hungary, which is where the Vice President J.D. Vance is, and that our nations are together on ideological views, so on and so forth. But those Confucian institutes, I think I'm saying it right, Confucius Institutes. Yeah. They're not teaching the morality of Confucius. They're teaching the language on how to survive, like as a tourist and assimilate into a culture. It's fascinating.
They are spy outposts. I don't care what anybody says, and that's a lot of universities have shut them down. But a lot of universities, for ideological reasons, just because they perceive it as somehow or other, I think, anti-American, they are dogged in keeping them here. The only thing I will say real quick to close the loop on the Iranian piece, though, sometimes there's a reason to let people come here and let them stay.
All right.
So, but once they are done with their usefulness, throw them out.
I mean, you are such
Talk about more on that in the break.
Talk about a cliffhanger.
What an inspector. So that's an asset.
Yeah,
that you're willing to get rid of.
You let them stay here until you realize, okay, we got everything we can get, and now launch them. That's it.
I have so many questions.
I know you should write our teases, Paul.
I'm definitely paying.
Launch them. Maybe they're still worth hanging on to. So you got to
because that's some good information. All right.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.